Hey everyone, John again. Happy New Year. I'm gonna go back, play grid number 26 for both time and rarity. I was able to get grid number what was it, 273, which was for the last grid of 2023. Didn't have a particularly I was going for the time version, but I blew way past a minute because one of the guys from Puerto Rico, people from Puerto Rico, and I just don't know that category very well. It's something for me to I guess get more familiar with. There are definitely some people I should have known though, but didn't want to end on that note. So I am going to go ahead and play grid number 26 here. Go back to I guess April of this year and see how I do. So let's see. I guess if I just do this, that should be this is one. And I did get it all, but my rarity score, I was doing the timed version and I just blew way back, and I'm just like, I don't know this category well enough that I'm gonna get any kind of rarity score. So let's see, grid number 26 should be what I'm on. And let's reset the clock, hit that, and away we go. All right, Nolan Arenado. Easy one. Saberhagen. Then down here. Todd's lost it. Todzil will work. Play for the Expos and the Rockies. So that's a pretty good rare score. Pujols. Let's put Pujols over here. At 80%. Freeze. Get that. George Brett does work here. Anthony Rendon. Let's see. What was his name? Bob Hamlin works. And then Harper, 85%. All right, so just over a minute. Um, Only a couple options here, so I don't know if I'll get any lower there on the rarity score, at least for these guys. 19% for I just remember Angel Burrow is gonna be who I go with for the rarity round. We'll see how that goes. Trying to think who if there's been recent people or if he's gonna take north of 80. I've got one for here. I believe I forget if it's either Dawson or Gary Carter work, and the other got second. I want to say Dawson is the one that does work. And Harper snagged 85%. So that should at least be workable. So let's go ahead and share as that was just today's grid. Go back to 26. And away we go. So let's see here. Trying to get let's go for this one. Let's go. Was it Wally Moon? Yeah. Beat out Henry Aaron for the Rookie of the Year, his first season. He takes 2%. Angel Baroa, we'll see about that. 18%, about the same. Of course, there's only a few options. And then I guess I'll go with, I think it's Dawson. But apparently there's others, but I'm just gonna go with Dawson. I don't think anyone from my youth wins it, but there might have been others in the 70s. He takes 12%. All right. So now we need anyone who was on any Cardinals World Series team. Rogers Hornsby was manager of the 1926 Cardinals, who won the World Series. And of course, you've got Dizzy Dean on the 1934 Cardinals, and I'm sure many others whose names I don't know as well. Was Chick Haffey on that team? Would that even overlap? Seems to me he had to have been on either the 26 or 34 Cardinals. Let's try him out. All right, that's a good rarity score. All right. So I'm not going to go with the 2015 Royals because that's the more recent one. I think they'll draw a lot of the fire. That was a stacked, like it was just like it was a bunch of pretty good hitters all in a row in a lineup. You had Zobrist, you had Salvador Perez, Mustakas Hosmer, Alcides Escobar, Alex Gordon, Alex Rios, Lorenzo Cain placed third in the MVP voting. Wade Davis. There's a lot of good options from that 2015 team. If we're looking at 1985, catcher is Jim Sundberg. Home run leader is I believe Steve Balboni. George Brett's obviously over at third. Frank White at second. Not going with either of them. Willie Wilson is in the outfield. I believe Lonnie Smith is on that team. Lonnie Smith was on that team and the 82 Cardinals. Um, Charlie Liebrandt, Brett Saberhagen, um, out of the leading the rotation, and Dan Quisenberry out of the bullpen. That's a lot of names. Of the people I list, I think I'm going to go with Sundberg. He goes sub 1%. Now, the Nationals during the World Series winning season. Wait, compare with a non-team category. Okay, just making sure I saw it right. So it has to be on the 2019 Nationals. Um, and I don't know that team that well. Zimmerman is there. Rendon is there. Howie Kendrick, I believe, wins MVP. Scherzer and Strasburg are both there. Um, was I think Annabelle Sanchez was on that team because it was like, and he had a great start in there. And I think he might be a decent pick because he's like the 3 or 4 starter. And he was on that team and he was also on the Tigers teams with Scherzer and Verlander. So I think that's a solid pick. He takes 1%. So, I mean, we got 30 right away with these guys. So there's not going to be anything super low here, but let's see what we can do with these categories here. We can go with Brian McRae over here, Hal's son. He goes 0.5. I believe Hal McRae also hung around long enough for that. I mean, right? I'm not going to play him here, but just checking his years. All right. Rockies and Nationals. I'm going to Rockies and Expos, which means Mike Lansing also takes 1%. And then let's see, Galarraga and Ron Gant will both. I'm going to go with Ron Gant because he didn't play as long with the Rockies. He takes 0.2. So I get 36 with 30 coming from 2 players. Let's look at these rookies of the year. So you got just sort by team. So we're looking at St. Louis, Kansas City, and Washington. I think I did or slash Montreal. I think I did pretty well with Kansas City there. Or excuse me, with St. Louis there. Um, if there's only been 4 and I was hitting 18 and 16% or whatever it was, Beltran I think will be the leader. And then I'm not sure. Pinella is famous for being a manager, so maybe that would make his percentage a little bit higher. I mean, Bob Hamlin's not particularly famous, and neither is Baroa, so maybe I did do as well as I could on that. And then if we go here, okay, I was never going to get, I guess it was the very next year, Bill Furden. I remember Moon because he beats out Aaron. Bake McBride, great baseball name. Also works for 30 stolen bases. And you get Coleman and Todd Worrell in back-to-back years, but nobody since Pujols. And then if we're looking at Montreal, Carl Morton would have been the other pick in addition to Andre Dawson. So Carl Morton would have been the right pick there. All right then. Well, let's call it there. Thanks a lot for playing grid number 26 with me, and I'll be back at it tomorrow with grid number 275. Thanks a lot for playing. Uh, Peace and have a happy new year.